Okay, so today we will be spending our time diving a little deeper into element number 6, which is a focus on emergent literacy. We're going to start things off with introducing the facilitators for today's webinar. So take it away, Darnay.
Are you here till the end today?
Yeah.
Do you mind
Hello.
just throwing the gloves and hats on the side back into those boxes and just putting them on the
I'm Darnay
table?
Turner.
Thank you.
Like Jennifer said, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today. Before I do my complete invite, I don't know, Trina, we're not able to see the PowerPoint. It just says loading on our end. But as she is working on that, I am one of your facilitators today. And I'll just share a little bit about myself. I've been in education for about 18 years. And I'm really, really passionate about working with children and families and other educators and building relationships to collaborate with you all to kind of lay those foundational language and literacy skills in children. But in my free time, I am on a journey of incorporating self-care and spending time with my family. So that's a little bit about me. And I will hand it back over to Jennifer so she too can share a little bit about herself with you all.
Yes, thank you, Darnay. So my name is Jennifer Jones, and I'm also one of the Certified Facilitators with Rollins. So I have been in education for about 14 years. I love traveling. I love shopping. I love getting together with my family, learning new cultures, and of course, teaching. I'm grateful for the opportunity to help grow and learn and help others thrive in their lives, no matter where they choose to take. Okay, and so we have a roll call, and we would like for you all to participate in a quick poll. There's 2 questions, so we would like to know first if you are a Cox Campus member, and then second, what best describes your role? Did everyone get a chance to answer those roll call questions? Trina, do you have any results for us on your end? All right, thank you. So as those numbers pulled up, so we have about 73%, really, really good number of our audience are already Cox Campus members. And we have a few, about 20 plus percent that are not quite yet, but we encourage you to do so by the end of this meeting here. And then we have a combination of teachers, instructional leads, some coaches, and we've got a really good number of some other people that are in different roles at their sites. And we're so glad to have you all here. Thank you, thank you. All right, so we are doing it the Cox Campus way. And so we have some core values, our 5 core values that stand out with Cox Campus. Our work is rewarding for all educators, system leaders, families, and advocates. It helps empower all people, connects others across the globe. It offers a safe place for learning and growing. And it's essential for you to apply in your daily lives. Thank you, Miss Esther. She is a family home provider. Nice to have you. Okay, and looking at our agenda for today. So we're going to start things off with a icebreaker. And then we're going to go into introducing the ecosystem element that we're focusing on today, which is emergent literacy. We're going to take a closer look at rhythm and rhyme, pack time, and emergent writing. And then we're going to talk about different parts of the day where you can use your emergent literacy, share some resources and tips with supporting dual language learners. and then we're gonna close everything out. All right, so we are now at our icebreaker rhyme time. So we know that children love singing and dancing and having lots of fun. And we're pretty sure that you as teachers like to do that too. So we prepared a medley of a few popular songs and rhymes, and we would love for you all to turn your cameras on so we can sing along with the music that's played. And then we want to open up the floor to you all to share some other nursery rhymes that you enjoy with your children. Let's have some fun, y'all.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all cleaned up, then I shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
The Nursery Rhyme Medley with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the Itsy Bitsy Spider, I'm a Little Teapot, and the
All right, thank you all for joining in with us. I hope that was fun. I saw in the chat some people were a little shy or they lost their voices, but that's okay. And I also saw a few people put in, oh, the Wheels on the Bus is their favorite. Were there any other ones that I might have missed? Does anybody want to come up off mute and share with us some Humpty Dumpty? Oh, I like that one. Bad, Bad Black Sheep, that's a favorite. Open, Shut Them.
I
Yes,
would
of
say
course.
one of my favorites used to be the bear hunt. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but I'm going on a bear hunt was absolutely a great time in my classroom.
Yes, 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 the bear hunt. Awesome. And we are also celebrating Black History Month this month. Does anybody have any favorites to celebrate Black History Month? Those would be neat to share. Grand Old Duke of York, Jack and Jill, London Bridge. Oh, y'all are pulling out all the classics. Five Little Ducks, favorite. We Learning the World is Beautiful. I've never heard of that one. I'd like to learn the melody to that one. L. Armstrong. Louis Armstrong. Five Green Speckled Frogs. Oh, the Five Little Monkeys. I forgot all about that one. That's a favorite. Great. Oh, and Gracie's Corner. Yes, on MLK. You Are My Sunshine. Oh, I knew y'all would pull out all the best ones. I just knew it. Thank you, y'all. Appreciate it. All right, let's keep it moving. Okay, So if you see on the slide here, these are our 9 essential ecosystem elements. And so to us, we call it the fan of the elements. And so we are focusing on the one that has the great big star on it. So that's the focus on emergent literacy. So this one actually falls under the content cluster. So there's 3 clusters. There's the climate cluster, content cluster, and the connection cluster. And so today we are focusing on the one that is under content. And there's 2 other ones that we've also had some year-long journey sessions on already. And so we are talking about number 6. And there's actually a course devoted strictly to the ecosystem elements. It's called the Ecosystem Approach course, and it can be found on Cox campus. And so that link can be shared with you in the chat to that course. And then also there is a companion guide that's shared with you as well that kind of breaks down each of these elements so you can learn what it is, what it looks like, and why is it important. Next. Okay, so on this slide, this is actually from page 17 in our companion guide that I mentioned earlier. This slide shares what the focus on emergent literacy is and why does it matter. And so emergent literacy focuses on children's awareness of sounds of language, recognition of letters, development of concepts of print, and the expression through writing in the context of play-based learning activities. So next, we're gonna do an activity where you'll pause and reflect on where you are now with emergent literacy, and then you'll annotate where you wanna be. Thank you, Trina. So Trina put it on the slide that we're talking about now with the annotations. So I want to show you how to do the annotates. So you're going to scroll up at the top of your screen, and there's going to be a view options. You're going to click on view options, and you're going to scroll down to the word annotate. You're going to click on annotate, and then you'll see different options of how you want to annotate. So you can annotate with a check mark, an X, a star, a heart. You can annotate in any way that you want. You can even use the draw option and draw your own annotation, or click on the ones that are already pre-filled when you click on draw. Okay, so have your annotation tool ready because you will be using it in the next slide.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and Darnay will carry on our next slide here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right, so with this slide, this is an image of a piece of our ecosystem measure. So Diane has been dropping a lot of resources in the chat, and so that's going to be the thing throughout. So you feel free to open them and save them on your computer, but she's going to also drop the ecosystem measure. However, for right now, what you have to worry about is exactly what you see on the screen. I want you guys to take a moment, look over this document. This is kind of laying out, if you're thinking about your site or a classroom that you're working in, we use this measure as a reflective tool to create goals that we can work on. And so if you're thinking about a classroom or a site or a school that you're working for, looking at the ratings, starting at 1 for emerging, 2 developing, and 3 is established. This is all focused around what it looks like for a site or a classroom to implement emergent literacy activities in the class, okay? You notice that at emergent, there's going to be some examples of what that might look like. Then at developing, there's more examples, and they begin to grow to establish where this element is being implemented with a lot of fidelity at established. So I want you to reflect. Then I want you to use your annotation tool to annotate, to stamp where you might want to grow, what you might want to know more about. And so we're gonna start a 2-minute timer so you can have a moment to read it over. You'll notice that it's also broken down for developing and established in um, age ranges. So if you focus with infant toddlers or preschool pre-K or both, then you can read those areas. And like I said, think about where you currently are and where you might want to grow to and use that annotation tool. We can start the timer. So people can think about that. Okay. So I noticed some annotations on the screen around the developing and established areas, around infant toddlers, around the writing materials with preschool and pre-K. That's a big one. We'll talk a little bit more about the emergent writing later today. We'll also talk about playing with sounds of language for infant and toddlers. So this is really great, and as well as an established area, encouraging more engagement, authentic writing experiences again. So this is really great. Thank you so much for annotating. And we're going to go to our next slide. All right. So before we play our video, just want to give a little background here. So young children, I just want to share how young children learn best when they're having fun, right? And that is engaging and something that really captures their interest. So for our youngest learners and for even our preschool pre-K, we do rhythm and rhyme, but our course rhythm and rhyme is geared towards our infant toddler teachers. And we use that strategy to truly engage them in an authentic but fun way. When we are in the classrooms, this takes place through finger plays, songs, and rhymes. It's so important to make these activities fun. And so we want you to tap into the actor or the actress in you and join in with the children in their laughter and enjoyment. One of the key ways in building language and literacy skills through rhythm and rhyme is by encouraging children to participate with you. The repetitive sounds and gestures of rhyme and rhythm activities provide the perfect opportunity for children to participate. So your facial expressions, your gestures, your body movements, the tone of your voice, They all contribute to a meaningful learning experience that will help children learn and remember new vocabulary and concepts, because although rhythm and rhyme is a lot of fun, these are awesome teaching moments. So let's play this video. We're going to see Angela talk to us more about how rhythm and rhyme helps develop phonological awareness, which is a skill that all children should learn while on the path of learning to read.
Hi, I'm still here, though you can't see me. Listen carefully. How many syllables are there in the word potato? Po-tay-to. I'd say there are 3. Wouldn't you agree? Can you think of a word that rhymes with balloon? I'd say moon. You and I understand that un is the connection. That is what we call phonological awareness. It's the skill that allows us to tune in, identify, and manipulate the sounds of language. We turned off the lights so you could really tune in to the sounds you were hearing. Phonological awareness is one of the most important predictors of children's reading ability. Rhythm and rhyme activities support the development of phonological awareness, especially when there's a responsive, enthusiastic teacher involved. Of course, we don't expect infants and young toddlers to clap out syllables or come up with rhyming words, although they're really good at moving to the beat. But you can help them develop phonological awareness by exposing them regularly to rhythm and rhyme and giving them the opportunity to listen to the sounds and patterns of language.
Okay, so Angela, she opens up and she shows us a quick example of what phonological awareness might look like with preschool and pre-K, but then she really breaks it down and shares how pivotal of the role the infant toddler teacher has in exposing children to the sounds of language in regular rhythm and rhyme activities every day throughout the day. It truly lays the foundation for what's to come for the children as they grow and experience more emergent literacy activities. Next, we're going to talk about some benefits as we go to the next slide. We're going to talk about some benefits of rhythm and rhyme. So first, you see here, there's a resource that we have on Cox campus, and Diane's going to share that resource for you, where it really details various benefits of rhythm and rhyme. And as you can see on the slide here, it's breaking it down in the variety of developmental domains. So we have the social, emotional, physical, cognitive, and of course, the language and literacy development that we're exposing children to. So in your free time, please take a moment to review the resource because it really lays it out. But I would love to hear from you guys, and let me try to open up this chat, or you can come off of mute. Anyone want to share from your experiences some benefits of rhythm and rhyme with your children? How have you seen them engage with you? What has happened when you are having these intimate moments, whether it's one-on-one with the child or in whole group, different parts of the day? You can drop anything in the chat, or you can come off of mute if you are able to, and share some things that you've seen benefit children by doing rhythm and rhymes or finger plays. Enjoyment, Melanie says enjoyment, building memory and fine motor skills. That is so true. Really being able for them to engage in those activities with you, like we were doing the Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star. Thank you, Melanie, for sharing that. As physical development, yes, they're moving. I think we talked about the bear hunt earlier, and other songs that we love to do where children are really able to move their bodies. Anticipation, I love that. Prepositions, yes. And yes, I love that. That definitely is a time to build vocabulary in children. Give them new words and give action to what that word might mean. Musical chairs, and they loved it. Yes, thank you so much. What will come next? These are awesome ways to instill these foundational words, the context, which is so important when they become 3 and 4 and they're doing other phonological awareness skills that they need to know. What comes first? What comes last? What's the beginning, the end? Is supports approaches to learning, being engaged in activities. Oh, sharing songs from other cultures. Trina, we can go ahead and click and we're going to share some benefits on the screen as well because you guys are naming them all. I love the opportunity to share different cultures. And so we have that on the screen, the understanding of world knowledge, really being able to introduce them to areas and concepts and cultures and ideas that they may not otherwise experience. Someone says learning about body parts through rhymes like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Absolutely. Creativity, imagination is here. So we're talking a lot about children being able to think and be creative, building that vocabulary and knowledge in the phonological awareness, of course. And the most important thing sometimes are the relationships. Building strong, trusting relationships really allows their learning to be meaningful and connect with them. Thank you so much for sharing. We're going to go to the next slide where we're going to take a closer look, some deeper dives, some examples. So this first video, we're going to watch Faye as she's wrapping up diapering time. So as you're watching, I want you, if anything resonates with you, start dropping it in the chat. So we can go ahead and press play.
Hey, ready for our favorite? Skidamarinka-dink-a-dink, skidamarinka-doo. I love you. Skidamarinka-dink-a-dink, skidamarinka-doo. I love you. Now you already know that. I love you in the morning. I love you in the afternoon. I love you in the evening. And underneath the moon, so skidamarinka-dink-a-dink, skidamarinka-doo. I love you. How about that?
I love it. So intentional, so warm, so loving. Who wouldn't want to be changed that way? It's just so nurturing. Anything that stands out to you, like I said, feel free to drop it in the chat. We can move to the next slide and I will lift things that people share as we continue on. I love that clip too, Shayna. Next, we're going to see Melissa. She is with some older toddlers. And one thing I want to say before we hit play is that sometimes rhythm and rhyme can happen, unintentionally, so we always have to be ready. And sometimes we are intentionally planning these moments. So let's take a look here at Melissa with her older toddlers.
Big apple, little apple, Susie Q. Shake 'em to the left, shake 'em to the right, shake 'em to the middle, then shake 'em out of sight.
All right, so that was a nice quick video, but we saw some of those movements, getting them to listening to those rhymes that Melissa was singing here. And this one might have been more planned, more intentional. She might have said, you know what, on my lesson plan, I'm making sure that I'm including some rhymes to do in whole group with my children. So we saw one-to-one, like Miss Judy has lifted in the chat. Now we've seen a whole group. Let's move to the next slide. So this one is with a book. So we can do them so many ways. So in the course, Rhyme With Me, you're introduced to how to use these activities with books with rhyming words in them. If you have been on Cox campus, we talk about reading to children, reading with children, and being very interactive and engaging. So this video, Shaquita is doing a rhyme read. And so let's take a look at this. look at what she's focusing on, and then we'll chat a little bit afterwards.
All right, you guys. Yesterday we read a book called Shake It Up, Baby. And in our story, Baby was using a lot of instruments. Instruments are used to make music. And she had the rattles, she had the drums, and I remember hearing some rhyming words. Rhyming words are words that sound the same. Let's read our story this time and listen for the rhyming words. Touch your nose, rub your tummy, shake your rattle. Isn't that funny?
It was baby. If she's just
Shake
trying to
your
sabotage, but
body.
to me, she's just trying to cause
Bounce
confusion.
and giggle.
And that's
Shake your rattle, spin and wiggle. Let's listen to those words again. Giggle, wiggle. Those words sound the same, so they rhyme. Clap your hands, everyone. Shake your rattle. Isn't that fun? Look at baby. She's shaking her rattle, and they're sitting next to each other, smiling. They look like they're having so much fun. Bang, bang, bang on the drum. Now shake your rattle, rum-tum-dum. Wish and swish, up and down. Wish and swish. Those are rhyming words. Shake the rattle all around. Reach up high, count 1, 2, 3. Shake your rattle, shout hooray for me. 3, me. Oh, those are rhyming words. You guys, we just read a book that had rhyming words or words that sound the same. Let's go back through the book and listen for those rhyming words. We heard the words giggle and wiggle. We also heard wish and swish. And our last one, 3 and me. I wonder if we can make some more rhyming words with 3. Let's see. 3, me, bzz, be.
Okay, so that is an example of a rhyme read. Did you notice how she introduced the book? Feel free to drop anything in the chat that you might be thinking about this example. Okay, so someone asked, how old are the kids here? So to be very transparent, she was a facilitator here at Rollins, and we were just acting like there were children. However, this read would be done with infants, young toddlers, and older toddlers. This read is, this strategy is designed to do in those classrooms. And yes, even infants. And so what we typically do in an infant room might be just one child or, whoever is in the area. But we would still do that read the same way because we are still building their vocabulary. We're building their knowledge. And over time, when they become more verbal, they will begin to know these words. These words will be familiar to them. But they typically engage through their gestures, through their smiles. So they communicate with us in that way. She was very enthusiastic, very interactive, a lot of focus here on those rhyming words. Sometimes we might use images or pictures if we're creating words at the end. If we were to do a rhythm read, we would sing the book, literally. So not stopping, just literally sing the book. So we make up a beat or a tune and we sing the book, and we really are inviting children for a rhythm read to join in and dance with us or clap their hands. So that is how we would do rhythm. And then like you just saw, this rhyme. You could see more of those examples on Cox campus in our Rhyme With Me course. Next, we're going to pivot to the next slide and wrap up this section with some reflection. So remember, you guys had those annotation tools earlier. If we could go back to those tools and just think about where you want to have more practice in, what you might want to implement. Put some stars here using your annotation tool on this screen here. About anything you might want to think more about in your practice or you might want to try out. And I'll share from the chat as you guys are reading. Gail shared that she spoke slowly. Her face and gestures showed she was enjoying what she was doing. Yes, thank you so much for that comment and that thought. Okay. We have one coming up. And Miss Elena, you're welcome. I see you put thank you in the chat. You're very welcome. I love the annotation here by exploring letters for older toddlers. That is always an area to that sometimes needs a little bit more focus, and I think is super important. We have some cool lines on the screen coming up. Although the older toddlers are young, we do want to introduce them to like the letters in their name. It's meaningful for children. I want to look for songs and rhymes in Spanish. I have something for you later in our session. We'll talk about some resources. And so I have something for you. We'll definitely share some resources around some rhymes in Spanish. Thank you for writing that out. I love that. So we're going to go ahead and transition. I'm going to hand it back over to Jennifer, and we're going to get more into pack time for our preschool and pre-K. But we'll wrap it to share the resources for all the age groups here today.
That's right. Thank you, Darnay. So it is pack time, y'all. So this is where we practice and build a foundation for learning how to read. So with PACT, there is a acronym for phonological awareness, alphabet knowledge, and concepts of print. Phonological awareness is the ability to notice and work with sounds of spoken language. Some activities that you'll experience is blending and segmenting syllables, segmenting words in a sentence, blending on set and rhyme, isolating beginning and ending phonemes in one syllable words, or blending and segmenting phonemes in one syllable words. Alphabet knowledge, it involves recognizing and naming the letters of alphabets. Some activities include the ability to point out a letter someone else names, the ability to name a letter someone else points to, or forming letters. Concepts of print is the awareness of the rules of language. So you're understanding print carries a message. You're organizing reading material, and you're organizing print. Next slide. Okay, so on this slide here, we're going to watch a video clip of a closer look at phonological awareness.
This is Sergeant Smarty here. Yes, what's the clue? You got a clue for me? Just a word? Okay. Oh, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Okay, Mac, you're breaking up again. Okay. I'm having trouble hearing my partner. His words are breaking up when we don't have a good connection on the phone. And all I heard was, maybe you can help me here. I hear you're some really smart kiddos here. Maybe you can help me here. I heard the sound, ooh, and then I heard ache. Now, if we blend and ache together, maybe we could come up with a word that would give us a clue. Ache. Listen. Ache. Lake. Yes. I heard some of you say it too. Because I heard the first sound and then I heard the rest of the word ache. And then I blended and ache together and I got one word and it's lake.
Wow, that was cool. So that was very very dramatic. And so you guys can put together your own ideas on how to blend those sounds together with your children. Very fun. Mary did an awesome job to keep her children's attention, get them engaged, and they were able to successfully put those sounds together to create the word lake. And so Diane is going to share a phonological awareness teaching aid with you in the chat. You'll see some other examples on how you can participate in some of those activities to help your children build their phonological awareness. Okay, and we're going to move on to taking another look at alphabet knowledge.
I'm going to show you, I'm going to demonstrate for you first, and after I demonstrate, you'll have an opportunity, you'll have a turn to play the game with me. Is that okay? Okay, here we go. Magic light, where will you go? Children, tell me the letters you know. So I will show you, I will demonstrate first. See where the magic light will go. Here, I see one long line going down and one short line across. This must be the uppercase T. So I know when I see this letter, I can identify, I can tell that this is the uppercase T. And right next to it is the lowercase t. Okay, now it is your turn. I've demonstrated for you, so now you get an opportunity. Magic light, where will you go? Children, tell me the letters you know. Yes. You're thinking that this is the letter S. You are right. The letter S is one curvy line. So every time you see this letter, you will be able to identify that this is the letter S. Okay, we'll try another letter. Kendall, I'm thinking that you probably know what this letter is.
The letter K.
The letter K. I'm thinking that you know this letter because it's the first letter in your name. K in Kendall. Okay.
L.
And you do have an L in your name, but K is the very first letter in your name. And you'll notice the uppercase K and the lowercase k. They look very similar. The uppercase K is bigger than the lowercase k.
So in this video, you also got a demonstration of the show me, guide me, let me try teaching aid. So we're going to share that aid with you in the chat. So that'll give you some examples of how to practice this alphabet knowledge experience with your children. So I hope that this video was also helpful for you to learn some skills on how to show alphabets to your children and teach them how to identify those letters as well. Okay, and in this video, you get to see concepts of print.
Are you ready? Let's start on the left.
M.
Oh, thank you. Help me.
A.
Mm-hmm.
D.
Mm-hmm.
I. S. O. N.
Awesome. Okay, so the next word I'm going to write, Madison Drew. But you know what I need to do? I need to put a space so people know that it's a separate word. So I'm going to put my finger here so that I have a space. So Madison Drew. I'm going to write Drew. And then I'm going to come back to the left, just like we do when we read. And I'm going to keep writing. You are so smart. So I'm going to keep writing my sentence. Madison Drew A. And have to put another space because I'm writing a new word. Picture. Madison drew a picture of a flower and Miss Kate.
Okay, so that was concepts of print. And there's a teaching aid that will be shared with you in the chat. Okay, and then now we're going to share with you some emergent writing. So here I'll define emergent writing for you as a way to communicate a message using random scribbles, left to right scribbles, letter-like forms, or conventional letters. So you'll notice with your children between the ages of 3 and 4, they will kind of go between different stages of this emergent writing. So you'll have children go back and forth between scribbling and trying to form some conventional letters. That's typical and that's developmentally appropriate for them. So on this slide, you'll see different samples of what that emergent writing will look like for your children. So keep in mind that emergent writing is not handwriting. In emergent writing, you'll have children experimenting with writing their name, labeling their drawings or their pictures, creating lists, such as grocery lists or things to do. There's also ways that you can practice corresponding with your children, showing them how to write letters to a friend or a parent. Sharing their opinion, so writing ways to express their opinion or their preferences about things. And also expository. So this is where they write to describe key concepts that they've learned with informational text. And there's also going to be an emergent writing teaching aid for you in the chat. And all of these resources can also be found in our resource library on Cox campus. Okay, and now you're gonna see a quick video clip on Mary working with her children, and she's gonna show you how she uses emergent writing with her children.
I think that this book is about sharing with friends, and I think that sharing with friends is one thing that makes me really happy. So that is the reason, or that's why I think that, look, that this book is my favorite. And let me show you what I did. I wrote it all down on paper. Look at all these words. I communicated, or I let people know that Rainbow Fish is my favorite book. The reason is this. I think that sharing with friends makes us happy. That is what this story is about. Now, those are the words that I wrote. Well, it's important when you're writing to share with people or to communicate what you think is that you write all the words that you want people to know. So, I have given you paper, and now you may choose a pencil, and I want you to write about what your favorite book, and I want you to think about what is your favorite book, and you can write why on your paper. Finish your picture. Well, you can write, you know, let me show you something. Let me give you an idea for writing. This was what sometimes helps me. What words do you want to say?
Rainbow fish.
Rainbow fish. Okay, let's think. How many words is that? Rainbow is one word. It's two words. Rainbow. Rainbow. That's one word. Rainbow. So rainbow is one word. So for that word, look, Amelia. I'm putting one line. That's for rainbow, and this is for fish. So that's rainbow, fish, And the next thing is, next is my favorite. What's the next word? Book. So book. I think that's 6 words. Let's put one line for every word. Let's say it together. Rainbow fish is my favorite book. Now, you can think about the words and you can put one line for every word that you want to write. Are you ready to write your words?
Look at my hands.
Okay.
Okay, so that was an example of how you can practice emergent writing with your children in small groups. So now we're going to reflect on everything that we've watched. And so you're going to use your annotations again. And you're going to think about some place that you want to do more of or improve on. And you'll have about a minute or two to do that. And then we will wrap things up with a little bit more on emergent literacy. All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And so I saw there were quite a few of you that clicked on adding more rhymes throughout the day. I saw some people wanting to provide more opportunities for their children to explore.
It's put down.
And also talking about it and modeling how letters are formed. Focusing your instruction on manipulation of sounds, of language. Good. And also, let's see, I'm gonna just pull out one more. Offering and encouraging engagement in developmentally appropriate, authentic writing experiences. So I think that Mary's video encouraged quite a few of you to do a little bit more of small groups with emergent writing experiences. Thank you. And I will pass it back to Darnay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love all of the reflection and thoughts. We know it is at 4, so just we're going to go through this closing to give you back your time. But we did want to talk about when emergent literacy activities take place. And this is going to be the section where I'm able to share some resources and some tips. We can go to the next slide. So just, I'm sorry, Trina, I'm sorry, I was moving ahead. Still talk, we can go back, but still talking about when emergent literacy activities take place. So we saw a lot of videos talking about how they can happen in small group. Mary's writing was a great example of a small group activity. Their whole group are great times. You guys can feel free to drop your ideas in the chat as well of when you do emergent literacy activities. But transitions are a great time for some emergent literacy. We saw the diapering, but even in preschool pre-K, we can use phonological awareness and alphabet knowledge for transitions. And center time are great times for emergent literacy. If we can go back just one slide at the resources. Yes, right there. So Diane is going to drop these resources. Someone asked earlier about songs in Spanish. So this first resource you see on the left of your screen, our rhymes collection, this is about 40 pages of rhymes for your routines, your finger plays, some action songs, all types of lullabies. And so that's there. It's really resourceful. It's a lot of things that you might be familiar with, but towards the back of the resource, there's also a variety of resources or rhymes and finger plays in Spanish. So that's a really great tool. You can find these on Cox campus in our resource library, but like I said, Diane is also going to drop them in the chat. We also have a list of books that are great to use for rhyme, because we always want to use books that have rhyming words in them so we can emphasize those. So we have some ideas, but you can also use any books that you already have access to in your classrooms that have rhyming words, but that resource is there for you to, if you want to purchase any books or find books at the library. And then in the middle here, you see packed transition cards. And I love, love, love these. There are ideas of how you can use phonological awareness, alphabet rhyme, during your transitions with your children, typically for preschool and pre-K children. So it's a really, really cool resource, really helpful for making every moment of the day an opportunity for teaching. We can go to the next slide. As I discussed in closing, that when we do have these opportunities in large and whole group and in small group, it's also a great time to observe children. And so we always want to put progress monitoring observation at the center of our work as educators. And so Diane is going to share a tool. It's called Progress Monitoring Tools on Cox Campus. This tool lists all of the progress monitoring tools that we have. For today's session for emergent literacy, if you pull up the tool, the tools that focus on emergent literacy are on page 1 for infant and toddlers. It's the first 2 that you see on your screen. It's their language and literacy observation tool. And then on page 3 for preschool pre-K, where we have our phonological awareness, alphabet knowledge, and emergent writing progress monitoring tools, as well as an assessment for phonological awareness is there. And so this tool, it breaks down how often we kind of suggest you can use them and some examples of what it might look like in your classroom. We can go to the next slide. I quickly do want to touch on that we are supporting children that might speak more than one language. We call them our dual language learners. They're learning multiple language at the same time. And so there are some tips to supporting those children. There's a resource for teaching phonological awareness with dual language learners that we're also going to share in the chat. And I know these are a lot of resources coming at you at once. But when you have a moment, I think they're really powerful. And when you're supporting your children. And so with our dual language learners, I'll just share that we want to, implement a lot of repetition with our songs and finger plays. We want to use, well, when using assessments, we want to engage them in a lot of modeling. We use gestures, visuals, and again, repetition. And then as well as making explicit connections between between English and their first language. And so just making those connections are really helpful for dual language learners. And we can go to the next slide as we are wrapping up. If there's anything that you want to share right away, like that you want to implement in your classroom right away, feel free to share it with us. Drop it in the chat. If there's something that really stood out to you that you want to get on Cox Campus and know more about, or that you're going to try tomorrow in your class, share it with us in the chat. We want you to join us again. We can move to the next slide because we have more year-long journeys ahead. And so our next one is in March 15th, when we'll talk more about monitoring children's progress. In April, we'll do more with our dual language learners and how to support them best. And then we'll wrap up the school year in May with partnering with our families. So we hope to see you again. The next slide, before you guys hop off, we would love to hear from you one more time. There's going to be a poll, and we would love to know, how did we do today? It's 5 quick questions. If you can take a moment to share your feedback, we would greatly appreciate it. You should see it up on your screen now. And again, as you're doing this poll, I just want to thank you for staying on with us a couple of minutes after 4 as we are wrapping up.
Yes, appreciate all of you for joining us today, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, and don't forget, we know we had a high number of people who were members on Cox Campus, but we want to encourage you, if you aren't, to join. It's completely free. It takes nothing but less than a minute. All you need is an email address. Oh, excuse me, I'm just trying to sneeze. But your email address, and you can create a password and join us on Cox Campus, where you can get more information and resources. And that's coxcampus.org. And then lastly, we want to invite you to keep the conversation going with us. I really appreciate you guys doing the poll as well. But yes, keep the conversation going. We have several platforms here. We have a Facebook page. We have a private group on Facebook, which is really, really cool. We share a lot of cool ideas. And everyone in the private group is able to kind of engage and dialogue with one another. It's a great community. We're also on Twitter and LinkedIn. So we invite you to join us on these other platforms and continue having dialogue with building language and literacy in children.
Excuse me, what's the second day of the second time?
For our next year-long journey, we have one coming March 15th. That's
March,
going to be
March 15th. And the same time, 3 o'clock?
Yes.
Ma'am.
Okay, can you send me the email, please, just for reminder, if it's possible?
Yeah, well, I believe in Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you visit our Cox Campus, thank you so much, Lorraine, and go to our events page. So if you go to Cox Campus, at the top, there's going to be a tab that says events. When you click on that tab, you'll be able to register for the session.
Yes.
You can register for
Okay,
the
for free also. And you
Yes.
send it the certificate also by email?
Yes.
Okay, because I need this hour for renew my CDA.
Okay, awesome. Yes, that you should receive those via email. And If you needed more hours, you can also take courses on Cox campus because you get right from the start hours or CEUs, depending what state you're in, that might be able to go towards that as well.
Also free?
Yes,
It's
all
also
free.
free.
Okay, okay,
Mhm.
thank you, okay.
And when
You're
you take a
welcome.
course on Cox campus, when you complete it, the certificate will be on Cox campus. So
Okay.
there's a way, it'll say, Lord Jesus, I'm losing. It'll say your certificates under our coaching tab. And so that's where you'll be able to find it.
I register my some first name, last name, my email. Did you receive it or not? Manal Al-Kaisi. The first name Manal, last name Abbas. My email manal.alkaisi@yahoo.com.
Okay. Are you meaning like when you register for on the events page?
Yes, when join, when join
Yes.
for the session, yeah, because if you possible, you can send me the more I can open, for the renew my CD because I need the hours.
Okay. So when you registered, it went to a portal where I'm sure your email was saved there. So I guess you might be receiving something from them. But in terms of the certificate, when you take the course, that would be on Cox campus. That wouldn't be emailed to you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Trina put some clarification that the certificate is not for this webinar. It is only for the course that you take on Cox campus. That's where you get the credit.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes, and just another clarification, you're going to receive a certificate for attendance today, but not a credit. But thank you all for joining us.